Future Frost here, back with another data pack for the Origins mod. Today I'm going to be going over the Frostweaver. You can find a link down in the description for the data pack, as well as a link to my Discord server, where you can report bugs, problems you have with it, just suggestions even, as well as giving me ideas and suggestions for Origins you would like me to make. I've made several Origins based on suggestions in the past, so there's a decent chance that I'll get around to making yours if you go into my server and suggest it. While you're down in the description, I would appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel. Seeing that subscriber count go up is a huge motivator to keep making new data packs. As well as that, if you're not going to subscribe, at the very least I would really appreciate it if you liked the video. It means a lot, and it helps a lot with the algorithm and getting my video out there. Anyways, on to the data pack. So, you may be wondering, what exactly is a Frostweaver? A Frostweaver is a being from a world where humans, unlike other creatures, were not given the innate ability to use magic. To use said magic, humans have to alter their body by embedding artifacts into themselves. In the case of the Frostweaver, they channel ice magic through a frozen artifact in place of their heart, using it as a source of mana. They have become a living vessel of winter's wrath, bound to the cold they command. They walk a fragile line between life and death, forever altered by the magic they wield. The Frostweaver has an impact of 3, meaning it significantly changes the gameplay of the game. A simple example of this is as small as where you have to build your base. Different areas, which we'll get into more later on, give you different amounts of mana, meaning where you build your base will be very important. Now, on to the abilities. The primary ability of the Origin is Spellweaver's Craft. Invoke eldritch magic with a flick of your hand, casting spells to reshape the world around you. This ability is fairly straightforward. Whatever spell you have equipped, which we'll get into in the secondary ability, will be cast when you hit your primary key. We will get into the various spells that are in the Origin towards the end of the video. Now, the secondary ability. Arcane Grimoire. Open the forbidden pages of your spellbook, unleashing knowledge that twists the fabric of reality. What this ability means is that when you use your secondary key, a menu will open up, allowing you to select your spell. There is 9 spells, and as I said before, we'll be getting into what those spells are at the end of the video. Now, the first positive modifier of the Origin is Arctic Agility. The Frostweaver moves with unnatural swiftness across ice, snow, and powdered snow. Their steps as sure as a predator's tread. What this modifier means is that when the player is near ice, snow, any kind of block that you would consider to be related to those, the player's speed will be increased. The next modifier is Aurora's Eye. The swirling blizzards and endless nights hold no mystery for you, as the auroras guide your vision through the bleakest of storms. What this modifier means is that when it is night or snowing, you will be given night vision when exposed to the sky. The next modifier we have is Cold Resilience. The freezing bite of powdered snow has no hold over you, for your blood runs colder. This modifier is exactly what it sounds like. You are completely immune to damage from powdered snow. The next modifier we have is Frozen Heart. Mobs that strike the Frostweaver are chilled to their very core, their movements slow and heavy with the cold. This modifier means that when enemies attack the player, they will receive slowness. The next modifier is Iceborne Climber. The Frostweaver scales frozen walls with ease, their hands and feet finding traction where others would slip. What this modifier means is it allows you to climb walls made of ice, snow, and so on, as if you were climbing a ladder. Now for the neutral modifiers. First off, we have Cryo Engine. Your heart has been replaced with a powerful frozen artifact, chilling your blood and filling you with arcane energy. But be warned, if your mana is not spent quickly enough, your body will begin to freeze in turn. The colder the land, the faster the frost claims you. This modifier is arguably one of the most important modifiers in the Origin. This is what gives you your mana. Your mana is obviously what is used to cast your spells, though if your mana gets too high, you'll begin to get slowness, you'll begin to take damage, and so on. I will note that this damage only occurs when you are actively moving, so even if your mana is completely maxed out, you will still be able to, like AFK and stuff, as long as your body just isn't moving. What that bit at the end saying the colder the land, the faster the frost claims you means is that exactly like it sounds like. The colder the biome, the faster your mana will go up. So the coldest biomes give you 3 mana every 30 seconds. Temperate biomes, medium biomes, they give you 2 mana every 30 seconds. And then the warmer biomes, they only give you 1 mana every 30 seconds. I will go over what biomes fall into which category at the end of the video after I go over the spells. The next neutral modifier is Frigid Aura. As your mana swells and your blood freezes, your body becomes increasingly touched by the cold. The deeper the freeze, the more your skin turns a chilling shade of blue. This modifier directly ties into your mana in that the more mana you have, the more blue your character will be. The first negative modifier is Cold-Bound Hunger. In lands untouched by snow, your hunger gnaws at you faster. The food of the winter's grasp replenishes you better, its chill sinking comfortably into your stomach. So this modifier means two things. One is that if you're in a biome that is not one of the cold biomes, your hunger will go down faster. And two is that food that you would find in colder biomes are worth more hunger. So that could be sweet berries, fish, that kind of stuff. The next modifier is Fire's Wrath. Flames and heat are your mortal enemies, burning you with brutal force. Fire and lava deal far more damage to your frostbitten flesh. This modifier is very straightforward, it's exactly what it sounds like. You just take more damage to lava and fire. Up next, we have Frostworn Flesh. The Frostweaver's body is frail, their form more suited to ice than to battle. Their constitution is reduced, leaving them with less health than those of warmer blood. This is another modifier that's very straightforward. Instead of having the usual 10 hearts, you only have 8 hearts. The last negative modifier is Solar Curse. The heat of the sun saps your strength, leaving you weakened and slow when you wander into lands under the sun's grace. What this modifier means is that when you go into biomes that are classified as hot, so that's the biomes that only give you 1 mana every 30 seconds, you'll be slower and you'll deal less damage. Alright, that is all the modifiers done. Let's move on to spells. The first spell we have is Arctic Aegis. Draw upon the raw essence of winter to bolster your vitality. For a short time you are shielded by the power of ice, gaining increased health and resilience. This spell, what it does is, while the spell is active, your health goes up to 12 hearts, and you have resistance. This spell costs 5 mana to cast, and the icon in it in the menu is ice. The next spell is Arctic Vitality. Channel the frost within to mend your wounds, drawing strength from the icy essence around you. The cold becomes a source of healing, restoring your vitality and resilience. What this spell does is, while it is active, you get just healing over time. This spell costs 3 mana to cast, and the icon in the menu is Packed Ice. The next spell is Frostbound Dash. Propel yourself forward in a blur of freezing wind, leaving a frosty trail in your wake. Enemies who dare follow are slowed by the creeping chill. What this spell means is that when you cast it, you will be propelled forward in the direction you are looking, and then enemies around you for a short time after will be given slowness. This spell costs 3 mana to cast, and the icon in the menu is a powdered snow bucket. The next spell is Frost Nova. A pulse of raw frost energy explodes from you, freezing everything nearby in its icy grasp. Foes caught in the blast are slowed to a crawl. What this spell does is enemies around you will be given slowness, and they will take a little bit of damage. The spell costs 4 mana to cast, and the icon in the menu is a snow block. The next spell we have is Hailstorm Barrage. Call down a relentless storm of razor-sharp icicles over a targeted area. The shards pierce flesh and chill the ground, creating a deadly frost trap for those who linger too long. This spell is very similar to Frost Nova, except it is more damage based over time, so enemies around you over time will be given slowness and they will take damage as long as they are still next to you. This spell is the most expensive to cast at 6 mana, and the icon in the menu is a snowball. The next spell we have is Icy Lance. Summon a jagged spike of ice that launches forward, impaling foes and chilling their blood. The freezing energy briefly saps their strength and binds them to the cold. This is one of the more simple spells. Enemies within range, when you look at them and cast the spell, they will take damage and be slowed. This spell costs 2 mana to cast, and the icon in the menu is Packed Ice. The next spell we have is Snowfall Descent. Envelop yourself in a swirling aura of snowflakes, lightening your fall and protecting you from harm. What this spell does is it gives you slow falling, so you will fall to the ground as if you are a snowflake, and when you hit the ground you will take no damage. This spell costs 2 mana to cast, and the icon in the menu is a snowball. The next spell we have is Snow Veil. Cloak yourself in snow and shadow, becoming partially invisible, perfect for striking unseen or vanishing into a blizzard. What this spell does is it turns you basically completely invisible, replacing you just with snow particles. The spell costs 2 mana to cast, and the icon in the menu is a snow there. The last spell in your spellbook is Whispering Wind. Unleash a swirling blast of icy wind that lifts nearby enemies into the air, disorienting them and leaving them vulnerable. This spell is fairly straightforward. Upon casting, enemies within range around you will be shot up into the air. The spell costs 4 mana to cast, and the icon in the menu is a snow block. quick note here, modded biomes, any biomes that aren't in the base game, will automatically fall into the medium/temperate category. If you would like to change this, you're going to have to go into the data pack and modify that yourself. If you watched this far into the video, odds are you enjoyed watching it. I would appreciate it if you subscribed to my channel and liked the video if you haven't already. Something I focused in this data pack is working on sound work, so almost everything in the data pack and Origin has some noise that is tied to it. I'm going to play a quick clip here at the end of the video, just showing some of that off, because I didn't really show that at all during the other parts of the video. Alright, that's all I have. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.